Okay, hello everybody. Today is May 12th, actually. We're already almost halfway through May, which is crazy. And I haven't started filming the garden blog yet for this month, although I haven't really done much since what you saw in April, which if you haven't seen April's garden vlog, I will link that down below for you. I did do some seed starting the other night, so I'm gonna kind of quickly show you what I have going in here. I didn't film it because, I don't know, it just wasn't a filming day. I was just kind of doing it quickly one evening. But I wanted to show you what I have started so that I can update you with the progress on those. And then I think I am going to head out into the garden to get a couple things done. So this is my green stock seed starting tray. This is my first time using it, so very exciting, and I love it so far. So what I have going in here are purple bell peppers and then like regular bell peppers. They're called California Wonder, the variety. I have cantaloupe, watermelon, which is very exciting. Last year, I've grown watermelon successfully before. Last year, I tried this mini cantaloupe for the first time, and I think that I planted it too late because they never got ready to harvest, I guess. It was already getting too cold by the time the fruits were actually coming in. So hopefully I will get some cantaloupe this year, but we'll see. And then I also have cherry tomatoes, regular tomatoes. I don't really love the tomato variety that I have, Manitoba tomato. I haven't had great luck with them before, but I'm just not a huge tomato person, and I feel like I'm the only one. Like, every gardener is obsessed with growing tomatoes, I feel, but I don't know. It's not my favorite crop to grow, but I do appreciate having some fresh tomatoes. So maybe for next year, I'll get a couple different varieties to try because I probably just haven't found a variety that I absolutely love yet. I will say though, the Sweet Million cherry tomatoes, I do really like those ones. So I've got those going, and you get so many tomatoes from those as well. Hungarian hot wax peppers. And then I have 3 different varieties of eggplant. I have Ping Tung Long, which is a Chinese eggplant, I think. And then I have Little Finger eggplant and Black Beauty eggplant. I love eggplant. That is a crop that I do get really excited about growing. Same with peppers. I really enjoy peppers. So I have jalapenos, and then I also started a couple more basil. I put out my basil really early this year in April, which is crazy, just as kind of an experiment because it's been so warm here, but it was definitely too early to put them out because they are getting a bit cold damaged. But I'm hoping that I can just give them a trim and they'll be okay. But we'll see. Like I said, it was kind of experimental. So a lot of warm season crops that hopefully will germinate well for me. We will kind of see how it goes. And I just have these sitting on the floor for now, and I'm probably going to grab a clamp grow light to use for these once they start coming up. When seeds are germinating, they don't need light. So I don't have to worry about that yet. In terms of what I would like to do in the garden today, I would really like to fill my potato bags up because there's so much foliage now. They definitely need to be unrolled and filled up. And I also want to finish my second hoop row cover thing so that I can get my cabbage, and I have some kale to get planted that I'll probably stick in there as well. But this is kind of an overview from above of what the garden is looking like right now. I'm actually really happy with it. Yes, I do still have to clean up the second half, but the first half is looking amazing, and I have almost finished with weeding in the first half. In terms of the wood chips, and I've also been keeping up with weeding the beds and everything. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and maybe I'll even make some more progress with cleanup today. That would be nice, but my main goal is to finish or to fill up the rest of the potato bags and to finish my other hoop cover situation. I also got a different netting, which you might notice on the white bed that has the netting on it. It's just a bit thinner and better for this time of year, so I swapped it out. The heavier row cover I could use in the fall and winter if I wanted to. But yeah, that's the current situation. So I'm gonna head out there and start filling that wheelbarrow up with some soil for the potatoes. Welcome to my neglected soil pile in my driveway. This is soil that got delivered last spring, and it's just been sitting here. Believe it or not, there's actually a tarp underneath of this, but I am me, so there's weeds growing in it. It's all crazy, and now I have to spend time pulling out the weeds whenever I come and shovel and use this soil, and it's almost gone, so it's fine. And then I was gonna say I should try to find a way to fix up our driveway to make it look a little bit better, but it's just so overtaken with weeds. That's the theme of our property. It's just like weeds everywhere. It feels a little untamable at times, and the driveway is really my last priority, so who knows if I will ever get to cleaning that area up. Anywho, that's not what we're working on today, or probably anytime in the near future. Today we are unrolling my potato bags and adding soil on top of all of the foliage, because that's going to encourage new roots to form, and we're going to get a bigger yield of potatoes. Now, you don't have to do this. I've grown potatoes before without adding more soil on top, but like I said, you're supposed to get a bigger harvest this way, so I figured I might as well do it since I was oddly on top of the potatoes this spring. And once potatoes start pushing out foliage, it is just crazy how quickly they grow. You'll see by the end of this video just how they have completely come up above the soil and completely bushed out. Like, they're huge now. So it's really cool just to see how quickly they come out. This is what they're looking like once the soil has been added into all of the bags. They look a little janky, but it's fine. I promise they don't even care. They will push through that, no problem, and they will be very happy. So the last thing there is to do is just water them in, because that soil was pretty dry. And then I had some extra time, so I decided that I was going to finish setting up my second brassica bed. So this one is going to be housing my cabbage and a couple of kale plants, but I have to build my hoop row cover for this bed to prevent the cabbage moth from demolishing my plants like they did last year, which was such a hassle. And oh my gosh, it has been so nice this year having them protected. Like, I will never grow them out in the open again. It is annoying because these beds fill up with weeds and then they're not as accessible to me, but I think that the pros outweigh the cons, and I'm super happy with it. I'm just using a roll of PEX pipe and some rebar. It's a very simple and easy setup, and yeah, I highly recommend. And then you just put some netting over it, use some greenhouse clips to secure it, and you have your plants covered, which is just amazing. I think that brassicas have been one of my favorite types of veggies to grow in my whole gardening journey, which has only been a few years, by the way. But there's just something about harvesting a whole head of something that is so satisfying. A whole head of cauliflower, a whole head of broccoli, a freaking cabbage. Like, that's crazy. It's just so cool. And the quality is just unmatched, of course, versus what you can find in the grocery store. So it's definitely worth it to me to put in the extra energy to be able to grow them. And now I have these two beds that are just kind of good to go, which is really nice. And I can always take the netting off, even take the tubing off really easily if I decide that I don't want that on, or if I'm growing something else in that bed for a season. Okay, hello gardening vlog. So I wanted to give you an update on my seedlings that are starting to pop up here now. And I also ended up ordering some new seeds, so I'm gonna do a little seed unboxing as well. Also, sorry, the washing machine and the dishwasher are both running right now, but it is what it is. This house is small, there's nowhere I can really go where it's not gonna be noisy. Okay, so here we have eggplant coming up, and I have these set up with a heat mat and with grow lights above. They didn't have any artificial lighting until I actually saw them sprouting up, and then I set them up with some grow lights. Here we have tomatoes are the ones that are coming up, and then the row that's closest to me are eggplants that have not come up yet. Hopefully they will. We have tomatoes coming up in here, and then the other side is hot wax peppers. They've not come up yet. I've noticed the peppers, none of the peppers have come up, have they? Oh, except for the jalapenos. Over here we have cantaloupe, which is very exciting. There's 2 cantaloupes coming up. No signs of the watermelon yet. Over here is bell peppers. Nothing has come up yet, and it's been like a week and a half since I sowed these. So hopefully things that have not come up will come up soon, or else I'm gonna start getting concerned. Everything has come up in this one. We have, oh no, almost everything. We have 3 jalapenos that have emerged and 1 basil. Very small. And then over here I already showed you this one. These are eggplants. So I'm very glad to see some progress on our hot season crops because I was a little bit late getting these started, but that's okay. I'm gonna get them in the ground in June, first half of June, and it should be fine. So yeah, that's how these are going, and I still have to clear out. Just give me a second because I'll give you a little update of the garden, I guess. So I have not been in the garden over the past week really at all, except for to do some light watering. So I still need to clean up the second half of the garden, clear out those beds so that they're gonna be ready for when these are ready to be planted in. And I also need to start some things via direct sowing. I want to get my squash in, that's the big one, and beans as well. Because I think that those are just best direct sown. So there's probably a few things that I'm forgetting, but it is May 22nd today, so we are starting to warm up and it's pretty much safe to direct sow things. I also would love to get a few sunflowers going. So that's kind of my goal for the rest of May, to clear out the 3 beds or however many beds that need to be cleared out back there and just get them ready for planting, whether it's direct sowing or whether I'm prepping to transfer these guys. And I do also have some room in beds that are in the first half of the garden that I've already cleaned up, so some things will probably end up going in there as well. But yeah, I just definitely have not been out in the garden as much as I would like lately, but it's fine. I've had a lot going on inside that has just been keeping me busy. But yeah, that is the update. Oh yeah, I have to open my new seeds that I got. So I actually got a gift card from West Coast Seeds, which is so kind of them to send over to me. So these were gifted. Yeah, I think I was able to get all the seeds with the gift card, and then I just had to pay for the shipping. So I wasn't really planning on buying seeds this spring, but since I had that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can grab here. So I just have this little package. Pretty much all of my seeds are from West Coast Seeds. They are the brand that I have been using from the beginning. So yeah, they're just my favorite. I have great luck with their seeds, and yeah. Okay, first of all, we have some snap peas, and I ended up ordering these because I am completely out of peas now. I sowed the last of my peas, so I kind of had it in my mind that I need to remember to pick up some more peas. I don't know, I mean, I could do another round of these, but more likely, well, it says try planting again mid to late summer for a fall harvest crop. So maybe I could do that, have peas for the fall. Either way, these ones sounded like they were going to be good in my climate. They are the Cascadia variety, and they are pea and nation resistant. So that's a virus that can affect peas. Aphids carry it and can infect peas. And if you're sowing peas after April 1st, you're supposed to use peas that are resistant to that virus, I guess, which I didn't even know. And I'm pretty sure the ones that I planted like mid-April are not resistant. So hopefully they will be fine. But yeah, kind of interesting. Oh, I grabbed some more jalapenos because I am also completely out of jalapeno seeds now, so I need to stay stocked up. I grabbed some spinach. This is a different variety. I haven't tried this before. Space, it's called. So yeah, I don't know. I like to look through the reviews that people leave and kind of decide which variety I want to try. So that one is new to me. And then I grabbed this patio, like small container sized eggplant. I just love eggplant. I'm already growing 3 or 4 varieties of eggplant, and I had to grab another because I saw that this was new and I want to try it. I grabbed a different cucumber variety to try. I only have one. Oh, that's another thing that I want to direct. So cucumbers, because I didn't start any. So I wanted to try a different type because the one that I have, which I don't even, is it just like a patio snacker? I don't even remember what type of cucumber seeds I have, but I've grown them the past couple of years and the skin is just really tough on them. Like they're fine, but they're just, I don't know, they're just not my favorite. So this is a thin skinned variety that's supposed to be really good. So I thought that I would give that a go. So I'll definitely be planting these soon, or in June, I guess, whenever it's warm enough. And we'll see if I end up liking those ones better. And then we have this beet blend because I am obsessed with beets. I want to plant more of these as well. And I thought it'd be fun to get this like variety pack because the only kind of beets that I have that I've planted are bull's blood, I think, which I really like, but I just wanted to try some different varieties. And then, oh shoot, there's no photo on here, but this is a type of Cosmo, is it? I can't remember. I think it's a Cosmo. This Cupcakes blush is really pretty, like pinky flower, and I love Cosmos. And then lastly, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I really wanted to try out these massive beans. I've never grown pole beans. I've only done bush beans. But these just look so crazy. Unique yard-long beans with gorgeous dark burgundy pods that grow up to 22 inches in length. That is just so crazy to me. Like, what do you mean? These massive beans, and I love beans. They're one of my favorite things to grow, one of my favorite things to eat. So, red noodle is what they're called. I just thought that that was so crazy, and I can't wait to plant these once the soil warms up. Like, how crazy is that? Anywho, very fun, new seeds, and I guess I did need to stock up on some of these, like some things that I'm running out of, like I said, so I guess that little gift card did come at a good time, and yeah, that was fun. It's so exciting getting and trying out new seeds. Anywho, right now I'm actually about to go out and do some watering. Watering is kind of chaotic for me right now because there was a hole in my hose. So my raised beds have drip irrigation, so I don't have to hand water those, but I do have to hand water like my potato bags, my blueberries in pots, my green stalk. So it doesn't take very long, but my garden hose, it had a hole like, I don't know, a month ago, and I bought, gosh, I forget what it's called. It's like this self-bonding tape that was like when I looked up how to patch a hole, that was recommended. So I went and I bought that and I patched the hole and it worked like okay. It's still kind of leaking out, but I was like, whatever, it's fine. It's not like spraying crazy anymore. And then the other day, a new hole developed. And now when I'm watering with the hose, there's like a fountain coming from the middle of the hose. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have another spot to patch, but I just have not done it yet. I haven't had the time, and I want to do it when it's sunny so that the hose isn't like all wet and it doesn't stick properly and whatever. Anyways, yeah, so it's kind of like hilarious watering when there's this crazy hole spraying, but I really am only using the hose for like a couple minutes when I do my watering quickly. So I need to add that to my to-do list to patch that hose. I'm honestly gonna have to replace it at some point because it's just once there's like multiple holes happening and stuff, I think it's just getting close to the end of its life, unfortunately. And I have had that hose for a while. I've had it, well, it's two connected, and one of them I've had since before I even lived here. So yeah, I've had it for a while. Anywho, let's go out. It looks nice and sunny, and let's get everybody watered. It is time to start tackling weeding the beds in the back of the garden, and oh my god, look at how chaotic this is, you guys. The longer I wait, obviously, the worse they get and the more established all of the weeds and everything get. It is absolute chaos back here, and the berry bushes are just completely out of control, and they're shooting up little like sucker canes everywhere. That's what I just pulled out and am removing. They're pretty easy to pull out, like surprisingly easy, honestly, but they're just like popping up everywhere. It's crazy. It actually wasn't too bad weeding these beds, surprisingly. There's a lot of tomatoes, which is kind of hilarious since I started tomatoes from seed inside. Little did I know, because I hadn't really walked in this section of the garden. Like, I was just trying to avoid it, to be honest with you. But little did I know that there's like 1,000 tomato plants already growing out here, and the irrigation has been off in these beds, so it just blows my mind that they have just been living their best life out here. Anywho, I am tackling this cleanup, pulling out the weeds, removing all of the old trellises and tomato cages that are in here, and just getting it all cleared and prepared to be topped up with some fresh soil. Okay, it's a Sunday morning and I don't have a lot of time to be out in the garden today, but I know that I for sure want to fertilize my brassicas. And in order to do that, I have to lift up the netting to get in there. So while that's up, I'm also going to weed those beds because there are a lot of weeds coming in there. So I figured that I might as well just do both of those. So I guess I'll weed first and then I'll fertilize. I have a liquid fertilizer that I'm going to be using. And then I figured while I'm already in there, I might as well also add some slow release fertilizer that I have. I really want to just boost these brassicas, and in my brassica beds I have, because I think I planted them out in the last garden vlog, I have broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and then I also do have some kale plants in with the cabbage because I figured that I might as well keep them covered as well. Not that the cabbage moth has really been a problem with those ones in the past for me. It's mostly aphids that take over the kale, which is annoying. But yeah, that's my goal. Yesterday I was able to clear out the entire bed that I was working on. So also potentially adding soil to that bed to kind of top it off today to get it ready for planting. But this is the aerial view of the garden right now. Let me zoom you in. So it's looking not bad. You can see that empty bed that I weeded yesterday, which, oh my God, I cannot believe how much stuff was in there. And so many of them were tomatoes, and the bed behind that one near the back, that one is also entirely full of tomatoes. There's like hundreds of tomato plants in there, which is crazy. So it's kind of funny that I started tomato seeds indoors because I did not know that I have like a million of them growing out in the beds from last year, just from fruit that had fallen and gotten left there. Oh my gosh, I really need to trellis my peas up. I need to put twine around the stakes that I have out there. Oh my gosh, there's so much to do, you guys, so much to do, but I have so much editing to work on today, so my priority is going to be the brassica beds. Oh. Okay, I just pulled so many weeds, but everything is looking really good in here. These are my cabbage. They're really pretty, actually. They're so silvery. And then we have a couple of kale over here. And then I'll show you what the other bed is looking like as well. I'm gonna close this because you can't trust, ouch, you can't trust the moths. That would be the worst if one flew in here when I wasn't paying attention. And in here we have the broccoli and cauliflower. And they've actually grown quite a lot since I planted them up in here with you all. So they're looking good. And I do have some nasturtium that are, I think these are nasturtium. Now I'm looking at them and I'm like, wait, some of them are shaped kind of, is this? I think it is, but a bunch of them have popped up, and I did have nasturtium in this spot last year, so yeah. Anywho, I need to go put my fertilizer in my watering can, and I think for this bed I'm gonna do the slow release, like granules as well. Oh, and I have a little tiny kale over there in here. Something that I really need to keep up with better is fertilizing my garden. I really do not do it very often, but when I do it, I notice a huge growth spurt. And that's what happened to me here. I gave this liquid fertilizer to my plants, and within a couple of days, I noticed them just look so much bigger and so much more robust. So it's a reminder to myself to get out there and feed them a little bit more often. Because, I mean, some plants I don't even feed at all. And they still do fine, but I want them to be able to reach their full potential, you know? This was a rainy, overcast morning, and that is my absolute favorite weather to be out in the garden because I really don't tolerate the heat well. I would much rather it be overcast, cloudy, and even raining. Like, I'm happy to be out there in a jacket in the rain. I don't mind too much. But it was the perfect time to get out and finally add some twine to trellis my, what are these? Snap peas, sugar snap peas up, because they're really starting to grow now and they need something to cling on to. So I basically just do tiers of twine wrapped around this kind of stake situation. It's definitely a little bit janky. I wish I had more of the green plastic stakes, but I don't, and I just haven't gotten around to picking up more. So I'm just making it work with what I have, which is fine. And honestly, they're not too fussy. They've already grown a ton since I did this. And yeah, I expect to get peas sometime soon because they are flowering now, which is exciting. So it is now the last weekend in May, and it is my goal for this weekend to finish weeding the rest of the beds and prepare them for planting because time is running out. The growing season is in full swing and I need to get everything in. So I'm gonna head out right now. It's Friday evening. I'm gonna rake out the bed that is weeded and it just needs, I need to rake out the soil that's in there and add some compost, and then it's pretty much good. It's the other ones that I haven't started weeding yet that are gonna take the most time. So I'm just gonna get out there, start chipping away at it. The wood chips are not my priority right now. They do need to be weeded, but the beds need to come first. And then when I have some free time, once things are planted out, then I will go back to getting the wood chips looking nice again. The beds are just priority right now. So yeah, I'm gonna head out. It's 6:39, so I actually don't have that much time because I go to bed pretty early, but I'll be out there until, let's say, 7:30. I'll spend 50 minutes out there, so let's go see what we can get done. This started out as a really relaxing and productive evening gardening hour, but the mosquitoes, they were coming for me because it's been overcast and the back half of the garden, the half that's closer to the back of the yard, just is way worse for mosquitoes because it's more damp in that part of the yard because there's a swamp behind our yard. It's a whole big thing. So it's very wet. We get a ton of mosquitoes, which is really unlucky because where I live in general, we don't have a lot of mosquitoes, but in our yard, it's like their sanctuary. Like there's just so many of them there. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I put a jacket on and it was fine until the sun came out and started absolutely roasting me. So I had to come in a little bit early because I could not handle the combination of mosquitoes and sweating in a jacket. Like, if I'm gonna be hot, okay, or if there's gonna be mosquitoes, okay, but I'm not dealing with them both. Like, I'm sorry. I was able to get this bed finished and all prepared for planting, which is great. This bed is going to be housing my beans and my melons, and later on we will be planting both of those actually, which is exciting. Some of my favorite things are going to be growing in this one. I came inside 10 minutes early because the sun came out. I was sweating because the mosquitoes were so bad and I could not take off my jacket or I would get eaten alive. And then I come inside and it clouds over again. Like, okay, thank you so much. Oh, there's a hummingbird out there. How cute. But I have that one bed prepared, which is great, so I can plant into it this weekend. Oh my gosh, the hummingbird is checking out my cosmos. That's so cool. This camera will not zoom enough for you to see, but that's really cute. So that bed is ready for planting, and the bed beside it is full of tomatoes, which is so hilarious since I literally have tomatoes started from seed inside. I think I'm just gonna thin them out and leave a few in there. I don't even know what kind they are, but those are like fairly big. They're like juvenile plants, so I figured that I might as well just roll with what's already going out there. So yeah, do I have a plan for what I'm planting or where I'm putting my seedlings when they're ready or anything? No, I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But yeah, that's gonna be it for gardening this evening. This is kind of how gardening has been for me this year. Like, I only am getting out there for like 30 to 60 minutes at a time for the most part, which is fine. Anywho, I will see y'all next time I get out there, which is hopefully going to be tomorrow. Okay, we are back in this same bed, and I am going to be planting pole beans, these massive red noodle ones that I showed you near the beginning of the video. I have actually never grown pole beans before, so I'm pretty excited about it. I don't have the stakes set up yet. I'm gonna have to go pick up, I've got to decide what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to need to pick up some new stakes or some type of trellising situation. But I think I have a little bit of time before I absolutely need to do that. I just wanted to get them in the ground and growing. So it'll be an interesting experience to be growing this type for the first time. We'll kind of see how it goes. I have grown bush beans in the past with a lot of success. They're actually one of my favorite things to grow. So I'm excited to be trying out something a little bit new, and we'll see how those massive ones go, if they actually end up giving me anything. I'm always skeptical to try something that just seems like very grand or something. Like, those just seem otherworldly. Like, I will believe it when I see it type of vibe. So I'll keep you updated on that. But I'm sure that my bush beans will absolutely thrive because they seem to love growing in my yard. It is very warm and sunny. So I usually get a lot of beans. It's actually really nice and helpful having the drip irrigation for planting because I can measure how far apart things are and like space them how I want them based on where the emitters are. So the emitters on these drip lines are every 6 inches, so it gives me a really nice visual, and I usually just plant my seeds like right at each emitter so that they're getting direct water. And it seems to be going well for me so far, and it's nice because I can move these however I want them. Like, I can put them in any direction and just kind of pin them down where suits for the plants in the bed. Like for my cabbage bed, I really kind of like crisscrossed them and made them go all crazy because it just made sense for giving the cabbage the most water, like having the most emitters at each plant, if that makes any sense. So it's nice to kind of have that flexibility and also be able to have it as a tool to help me when I'm sowing seeds or when I'm spacing plants. Okay, we have finally made it to the last 2 beds. We are now at the very back of the garden. So the one that I'm standing at right now, that is a larger size bed. I believe it is 8 feet long. And all of the beds that are vertical like that are my larger beds. And then the ones that I have horizontal, they are my smaller beds, which are 6.5 feet long. Just to, I don't know, give you a better idea of their size because it's kind of hard to tell just from seeing them on video. But this one that I'm working on right now, well, there is one tomato plant that I kept in there, and I'm not sure what kind of tomato plant it is, but I suspect it's a Sweet Million cherry tomato. I'm hoping that's what it is, because that's my favorite tomato plant of the ones that I have growing. But that was Honestly, that was the only one that really caught my eye as looking robust from all of the tomatoes in this bed. So that's the one that I chose to keep. And then I asked Shane to move a bag of soil to this bed, and he carried it over and he dropped it right on that tomato. I was like, sir, like, what are you doing? And he said he didn't see it, or he thought it was weed or something. I don't know. Anyways, I think it's fine. It's like perked back up, and I don't think it completely snapped or anything, but that was kind of funny. So there's this one lone tomato in here for now, just living its best life, but this bed is going to have my peppers, my eggplant, and I also planted a zucchini in here because I really just did not know where the heck to put it. Zucchini is kind of my nemesis. I do love having one zucchini plant every year. One year I did 2 plants. That was just way too crazy. I do like having one. I enjoy getting zucchini, but they're just so massive. Like, I never know where to put them. They end up taking up so much space and like blocking walking by my beds. It's a whole thing. But one of my goals this year is to keep things more pruned back. And I could also try growing it vertically and putting a stake in. So maybe I will do that. It hasn't started growing yet, so I still have some time to decide. But yeah, that's a big problem. It's so crazy because this garden seems huge to me, but every year I'm like, I feel like I don't have enough planting space for everything that I want to grow. But I also just don't feel up to expanding the garden. Like, as we can see, I can barely maintain this one. So I should probably just stick to what I have for now. But I do always just feel like things get so big. Anyways, I'm rambling now and I'm gonna get cut off here. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I've just pulled up to a garden shop because I really need to buy watermelon seeds. I used the last of my watermelon seeds, which are a few years old now, probably, which is maybe why they didn't end up germinating, because I planted 3 of them. None of them came up. That's the only thing out of all of the seeds that I planted in my little green stalk seedling tray thing. That's the only thing that didn't come up. None of them. I was like, oh my god. So I need to buy watermelon seeds because those need to get in the ground like now. So I'm gonna go in, grab some of those, maybe just take a little browse since I'm here, you know, and then I want to go home and get the watermelon planted and also weed the last bed that I have to do. That's my goal for garden stuff today. Okay, so my plan changed only slightly while I was in there. So I was looking at the watermelon seeds, of course, and I saw the Sugar Baby, I think it is, for watermelon from West Coast Seeds. And then I saw a different variety from Cornucopia, which I've never tried their seeds before. This one is Heirloom Sweet Princess Watermelon. I think they're supposed to be pretty big. It says 15 to 20 pounds. I've never grown watermelon that big, so I thought it would just be fun to try. This is only like $3 for a pack of seeds. So I'm gonna get a couple of these planted up and we'll see what happens. And then I went outside because of course I just wanted to look around for a minute, and I saw that they had starts of the Sugar Baby watermelon, and I was like, you know what, why don't I just grab a couple of those and then I will buy my Sugar Baby watermelon seeds for next year so that they're not like a year old by the time I use them. This is perfect because I already feel a little bit behind in the garden, and I just love growing and getting watermelon from the garden. It's something that I get really excited about, so I thought I might as well just, you know, these are pretty big already, so I'm gonna get these planted out. And then I saw this marigold. This is the Strawberry Blonde, and I actually tried to grow this variety of marigold from seed last year, but they didn't do too well. So these just caught my eye. They're so pretty, like all the different shades of red and orange. I think that they're so stunning. So I just had to grab this as well. I love marigolds. I love having a pop of flowers. in my veggies. So that is my garden store haul, less than $20, so not too bad, not too bad. Now I'm gonna head home and get to work. One of the issues that I have every year that I'm running into already, and I don't know if anyone else does the same thing, but I will sow seeds and then I will forget what I've sown and where I've sown them. A couple of days ago I was out in the garden just sowing random seeds, didn't mark anything down anywhere other than in my brain, and I can remember some of them, but when I was walking around in there and I was looking at like the cucumber starts, I was like, did I plant cucumber the last time I was out in the garden? Like, I can't remember. I think that I did plant a couple of them, but it's like gone from my brain, and I'm always telling myself that I'll remember, and I never do, or I rarely do, at least, unless it's really obvious, like how I did like 4 rows of beans the other day. Like, that's taking up half of an entire bed, so I know that that half of the bed is planted. But when I'm just going in and adding them to random beds, like I just find out what's there once they come up, if they come up. So it's a very kind of chaotic way to do things, but I am just a chaotic person in general, so it makes sense. I'm getting these watermelon planted straight away. Now, they didn't take up a ton of space when I've grown them in the past. They vine out similar to a squash, but since this is the sugar baby, the smaller watermelon variety, I think that's why they just weren't as massive and sprawling. They just kind of nicely hung over the side of the bed and grew some cute little melons down there. I will be very curious if this large variety that I sowed by seed comes up, how big that one will get. I'm anticipating it's going to be a lot larger and crazier of a vine, but this will be kind of a learning experience year for that. So I did these 2 smaller watermelon, and then I did just one I want to try growing of the larger. So I planted, I think, 2 seeds, and hopefully one of them will take for me. It's always fun to experiment. That is half the joy of gardening, is just trying things out and learning as you go. And then at the end of this bed, I went ahead and sowed my zucchini that I was telling you about, my one zucchini that I'm hoping for this year. So I got that guy all good to go, and I marked it with sticks, but then I of course forgot that I planted it there, and later on I sowed eggplant very close to that spot. So we'll see what actually comes up and what I'm gonna do to make that work. But anywho, that is a problem for another day. I finished off by planting the strawberry blonde marigolds in the front yard. I decided to put them there so that I could just see them more often, I guess, and I had this pot available. I grew marigolds in this pot here last year, and they did well, and I loved seeing them, so I thought it would be a good spot for this special variety. And you can see that my climbing rose is in bloom right now. It is so stunning. I can't tell you how happy it makes me every time I look at it. It is just absolutely gorgeous. It is very wild and untamed because I don't know how to care for a rose, so I don't do anything to it. This was planted by the previous owner, and it just does its own thing, but maybe one day I will learn some appropriate care tips for this plant. Anywho, here's how the marigolds are looking. I'm really happy with how they look in this pot. And one last look at my beautiful roses. I just love this deep fuchsia color. It is so stunning. And then of course we are going to end off the video by doing a full garden walkthrough so that you can see how the garden is looking at the end of May. It's really interesting to see just how much everything has exploded even since the last garden vlog that I posted just a few weeks ago. It blows my mind. So if you haven't seen my April garden vlog, there's actually a playlist where all of my garden videos are going to be, so if you want to check any of the other ones out, then that will be there for you. but it is just so cool to see the progress and to just witness how incredible all of these plants are. My red kale and my romaine lettuce have especially gone crazy in this front bed here. I actually harvested a whole bunch, probably too much from my romaine lettuce. I was gonna just take the whole head, but then we decided to just leave a little bit so that it could hopefully continue growing. We'll see. That's what's left of it, but it was so delicious and crisp and crunchy, and I had a yummy Caesar salad with it, and we have been eating off of this kale for weeks now. It just keeps providing, which is stunning. My green onions and my rosemary are both looking beautiful. Again, they're just so like healthy and robust looking. It makes me so happy to see them thriving here. All of these onions are looking really great as well, and green onions are something that I always like to have in the garden because we use them pretty often in cooking, as well as parsley, which is what these are here. I sowed just a whole bunch of little parsley plants here so that I would have a lot constantly coming in. And then we have my curly kale. This is actually my first nasturtium to flower, so that's cute. It's so crazy how just like neon and bright these flowers are. They add such a fun pop to the garden, to the sea of green that you see in the garden. So I love that. That's why I love marigolds too, because the orange in contrast with the green is just so great. These are baby red romaine lettuce, which I'm hoping are really going to take off soon because I need more lettuce coming in. I love romaine lettuce. It is so good. And then over here in the green stalk, you can see that my strawberries have been producing. They have been going crazy. I've been picking strawberries every single morning, which has been so nice, from the top tier only. The second tier is just getting ready to give me some berries, but the top tier, which are strawberries from last year, has just been growing like crazy and fruiting like crazy. But you can see these ones, which these I bought this year, so they're a little bit younger, but they are starting to give me some strawberries, which is cool. And then we have some good progress on my carrots down here, as well as my beets. And I have some cilantro, lettuce, and I think a little kale in the bottom tier as well. And everything is doing really well on here. These are my potatoes that are in tomato planters, but it works. These have been doing really great as well. My thyme, which is entirely in flower now, it is so beautiful and fragrant and productive. I have thyme for days, for years from this plant. It's so crazy, and it's a perennial, so it just stays in that spot. This is a snapdragon that I'm waiting on flowers, and some basil, which I'm probably gonna cut back even more because it just got so cold damaged. I kind of just want to do like an aggressive prune. These kale got attacked by the cabbage moth. I jinxed it by saying that the cabbage moth don't typically go for my kale. Well, since all of my other brassicas were covered, they really went for these, and I ended up pulling them out because they just got so damaged. Some more marigolds, which are looking absolutely stunning over here. And in a second, you'll be able to see just how much my peas have taken off since I put the twine around the stakes. They have just grown like crazy. Like, look at all of that foliage. It is absolutely wild. I do have a random volunteer tomato inside there as well that I'm just kind of leaving in to see what happens. And there's also another one just outside the trellis. This, I don't even know what this is. I guess it's a trellis, but it's very DIY, which is fine. But yeah, there's a couple of tomatoes just hanging out over here that I'm just kind of leaving because why not? I don't know. I just had tomatoes popping up everywhere this year like crazy. So I just left some of them as, I don't know, kind of an experiment. I can always remove them later if they get on my nerves. My chocolate mint is still going crazy, and I still have yet to harvest it. I need to get on that. I want to dry it and then use it for tea. but I just have not done so yet. And then over here we have probably one of the things I'm most excited about in the garden right now, which is my blueberries. Don't mind all the weeds. I have not weeded this section of the garden yet, so it's kind of chaotic. But this blueberry plant on the right, which is a little bit more mature, is just giving me a ton of blueberries. And this is going to be my first ever blueberry harvest, and I was not expecting it. For some reason, I thought I wasn't going to get blueberries until next year, but here they are coming in. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? I cannot wait until they're ready. I am like watching this plant like a hawk every day. I was so intimidated by these blueberry plants, but I just used a container mix and then a soil acidifier made for berries, and that's what I potted them up in, and they have been really happy. So that's grand. Here's an update on the cabbage that I planted in here earlier in the video. They have grown a ton and they're really pretty. I love the silvery leaves on these guys, and we do have a couple of healthy dinosaur kale in here as well. So I didn't feel too bad about pulling the other ones out that were getting eaten. These ones look great. My potatoes have gone crazy. As you can see, there's so much foliage on these, and they are even starting to flower, which is a good sign. After potatoes flower and the foliage starts to die back, that's when you are getting close to the time you can harvest your potatoes. So it's very exciting to see. And then you can see my broccoli and cauliflower over in this bed. Most of them are doing really well. These are what I just noticed a huge explosion of growth on after I fertilized. Like, they just look crazy now. But yeah, most of them are doing okay. Some of them are kind of small or like, I don't know, stunted for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, but most of them are looking really great. And then over here, that's where I planted my beans, which have not come up yet. I'm still waiting on them, but hopefully they will. And then we have my watermelon, which have both been looking good. Like, they look like they're settling in well, so I am happy about that. I don't think I've seen anything pop up that I actually sowed in this video because I'm filming this walkthrough just a few days later, so I don't have any crazy updates. You'll have to wait for the next garden vlog to see what ended up coming up, and I'm very curious as well to find out, because even in my time when I'm doing this voiceover, nothing has come up yet, so I am eagerly awaiting giving you updates. I did put a cage around this lone tomato in here, and it seems to be bouncing back really well from getting squished, so resilient woman. And then I've almost finished preparing the end bed here. I just have to kind of rake everything out and put the drip irrigation back on top, but I decided to keep a row of tomatoes here, and I don't know, we'll just kind of see how it goes. I just didn't have the heart to pull all of them out when they're already getting established there, so maybe I will end up with a lot more tomatoes than I thought this year, but we'll kind of see what happens. Anywho, as you can see, the berries are just absolutely wild. These are the raspberries, and you can see the little berries starting to emerge, so that's exciting. They will probably be ready, I think normally like June, July, I pick raspberries. The tayberries come first, which you'll see in a second. Those ones are a little bit more mature, so I'll harvest the tayberries definitely in June, and then yeah, I think raspberries are like later June, maybe going into July a little bit, but these are the tays right here, and tayberries are a cross between, they're a hybrid of blackberry and raspberry, and they're really delicious, and they are a little bit bigger than normal raspberries, but yeah, they're very, very yummy. And we are gonna have a lot of them because yeah, wow, this has just gone out of control, but it's fine. We're focusing on the positive, which is that we are going to have a ton of berries. And then here's my clematis. The deer have once again eaten this plant back, so I only have a couple of flowers on it right now, which is a bummer, but it is just a lesson learned, I guess. And then this is in the front yard. I tried to move these, there's a couple cosmos that I pulled from, they were just volunteers in the raised beds. Tried to move them out here. They look a little sad, but we'll see if they perk up. and my sea of foxglove, which are so stunning. They give such whimsical fairy vibes. I love seeing them every day, and I love all of the different colors that I have. I have the dark pink, the light pink, white. Look at those speckled throats, like they're so gorgeous. And then I do have some peach ones coming in right now as well, so absolutely stunning. I love my flowers in my front yard. Here's the rose again because I just can't get enough of it. And then I will give you an update on how my hydrangea eclipse is doing because it is just starting to flower or like open up its flowers right now as well. So very, very exciting. This is so gorgeous when it's in full bloom, so I will be sure to update you. But that is it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on the garden vlogs, and I'm so glad that you are enjoying them. So leave me a comment down below, like this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the garden next month.